Hey guys, Jen with Astrology. Today we're talking about the astrology of September. So it is all about being able to march forward to an uncertain future and leaving the past behind and being able to know when to let go. So first we're going to sum up the big aspects of the month and then we'll fine tune a little bit. And don't forget, each individual lunation and the big aspects will also be doing separate videos for as the month goes on as usual. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell for those notifications as well. So a quick summary of what the month's going to look like. So on the first, we begin the month with Uranus stationing retrograde. This is at the 27th degree, and Pluto also moving back into Capricorn for the last time before it finally goes and ingresses ultimately for permanence, or for at least a 20-year permanence, into Aquarius. So the second brings us the new moon in Virgo. And then we have Mars in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces on the 3rd, and that is at 27 degrees. So a lot going on at that 27th degree there. So if you have any planets and everything at that degree or at the ending degrees, you're going to really want to pay attention. So that's in Pisces. Uranus is in Taurus, so that is fixed and mutable signs that are going to be affected. So along with Venus in along with that, Venus in Libra is going to be opposite the North Node. So Mars then ingresses into Cancer on the 4th, and then on the 7th, that has that last Mercury-Uranus square that we've been talking about and following. That is the third in the series. On the 8th, Saturn, and we have a Sun-Saturn opposition. On the 9th, Mercury moving back into Virgo after being retrograde and then moving forward. On the 11th, it's the end of its post-shadow period. So kind of what have we learned from that? So on the 12th, we have the Sun squaring Jupiter. Then we have a nice trine with Venus and Jupiter on the 15th. And so that's like that, just a little pleasantness amongst all kind of the stressful. So we wanted to add that in there. Of course, the two benefics. So then, but along with that, Mars does square the North Node. So a little bit of tension. So that brings us to the partial lunar eclipse of the full moon. So the partial lunar eclipse, that's the full moon on the 17th. That is in the sign of Pisces. And then that is followed swiftly after by Mercury squaring Saturn, and that is also in Pisces, and that is on the 18th. So then we have the Sun trining Uranus just before opposing Neptune on the 20th, Mercury squaring Jupiter on the 21st, and then Venus squaring Pluto on the 22nd, right before she moves into Scorpio, so out of her home sign of Libra and into Scorpio. Then the Sun moving into Libra, beginning the autumn or the fall equinox. So Mercury ends the month being a little busy bee, opposing Neptune just before ingressing into Libra itself. Mercury then catches up with the Sun, and they both oppose the North Node, and that is in the last days of the month. So let's break this all down. I know that's a lot to take in, but let's see what we got and like see what this all means. So basically, we have everyone in mutable signs besides Venus and Uranus for really most of the month. So we have, it's a time where, you know, very Virgo feeling, and very Virgo by, I mean, you know, you're really just finishing things up and preparing to move forward with the new season. So any mutable sign is ending of a season. So Virgo, I think, is the most poignant because it is about that reaping what you're sowing. So what you've kind of built for the past few months is now the kind of, you know, you're getting what you worked for. We basically, so, and that's moving into the Libra season, the fall equinox. So Uranus stationing retrograde on the 1st just kind of reminds us to look back and prepare to take a risk. Uranus is about taking risks and not just excuse me, sitting idly by and just letting things go. You want to get and kind of jump in with it and not just watch as the tide flows by. You want to jump in and you want to like surf right along with it. You want to get ready for those changes that are coming up. You don't want to be left behind. The new moon in Virgo not only plants the seed, but encourages us to get rid of that dead weight, because you can't move forward if you're dragging the past behind you. We need to just release that of what we keep clinging to, that old, and get rid of that old. And how do we move forward to the new? And that is what this whole kind of energy is all about in the beginning of this month. It's just getting rid of what is unnecessary, cutting out the fat. That is what that Virgo is all about. And with the Virgo new moon, it is really encouraging us to kind of look at what we don't need anymore and get rid of it. And that could be in our minds, that could be in our closets, that could be clearing out our garages, that could be anything, but just getting rid of the excess. It can even be getting rid of excess, like weight, for instance. If you've just been putting on a lot during the summer, maybe it's a great time to start a workout routine. But this is all planting that seed to get rid of something, enabling yourself to move forward. So this could be mentally, physically, or, with everything around you. So the new moon that's coming, then Pluto moving back into Capricorn for its last time. So this, again, we are emphasizing the fact that looking at the old structures, re-looking at it and seeing what worked and what didn't work. Again, this all goes with that Virgo, and just kind of like what are we building upon, and what needs to be torn down and left behind. So, with that Pluto moving back into Capricorn, we're doing that last and final check, that last and final peek back of, okay, what hasn't been working for us and how are we going to move forward? And this is a lot of big government and, and I say government because it is a lot, because it corresponds with the Pluto return in the United States, and plus all the elections and all that as well. And it's just about higher up and just kind of knocking down the old structures and building new structures. This is a transformational time in history that we're going through right now. And the aspects at the beginning of September are a pivotal point in our lives. Now, we might not see it now, but this is going to be, again, those seeds that are going to be planted. So we might not see it, but in the future, we're going to be able to look back and say, oh, okay, now it makes sense. So write things down, journal. I find that when you journal things and then you look back, you're like, oh, that's right. Because a lot of times you don't remember the dates and times that things happen. We will be able to just let go of the past, to move ahead, and to that new and uncertain future. I know that it does get scary because you just don't know, especially people that are in the older generations like myself and those older than me even, because I'm Gen X, and then we have the baby boomers and everyone that's really set in their ways, and the younger generations are really those kind of more of those mutable signs that kind of just go with the flow, and they like change, they encourage change, and they're like, oh, boomers or whatever they say. We're encouraged to really kind of push outside of our comfort zone, pushing away that fear and that trepidation that really is going to be holding us back in the long run. And I know how it is. I know how it can be. My moon is in Taurus, so that is in the fixed sign, but I do have a lot of cardinal energy as well. So with Mars squaring Neptune, that has us really fighting for that vision of the future. So, what are we trying to convince others to believe? Because this is Mars and this is Neptune. These are our own visions. And how do I see things compared to how others are seeing things? And why do I feel like what I'm seeing is right? And why do they feel like what they're seeing is right? And, of course, your vision could be met with backlash if yours isn't completely met with theirs, especially with the polarity that's going on in the world right now. If you're not fully on one side, then you're not on that side at all, it seems like. So you have to be, fully one way and fully against the other way, and there's no happy medium, and we need more of a kind of united. So with Neptune and Mars squaring Neptune, kind of can bring up a lot of uncomfortable energy and trying to express things of our personal visions, trying to convey our thoughts to other people. Venus in opposition to the North Node goes along with really, again, getting rid of what is not needed to get what you want in life. You want to, again, cut the fat and be able to express yourself in a positive way so that people can maybe understand you a little bit better. Now, with the Venus in opposition to the North Node, this can be in a relationship that is even stale and not progressing. So if you are in that kind of relationship that, you're Venus, you want to further your love, maybe you want to get married, maybe you want to become a couple instead of just, casually dating. Well, this opposition is going to kind of make you see that if this isn't going anywhere, you need to cut it loose, like cut it and get rid of it. That's, again, goes along with this Virgo theme of the month, because it is Virgo season, and it's cutting out what we don't need so that we can then move forward. So if it is in relationships, if it is in a work partnership, anything like that, it's cutting out relationships that don't work for us so that we can then put all of ourselves into a new relationship. If you're holding on to something from the past, you can't put yourself fully into something new. So if you want, it's time to end it. You need to know when it's time to end it. To get back in balance, you want to balance your head and balance your heart. That's that Libra, Aries opposition, polarity, but it's that balance of head and heart so that you can just feel good, get that zenness going, and move forward. So then we have Mars going into Cancer on the 4th. So this can make you a little bit oversensitive, a little cryy maybe, a little, feeling like you're being under attack, and it could really, why are you being so mean to me? It could give you that kind of feel, but you could also be really snappy about it. It's like, why do you always have to, make me feel bad about myself? You could also be fiercely protective over the ones you love, that Cancer is that nurturing kind of motherly sign. So you could just have that mama bear energy really coming out. So if somebody's not hurting you in particular, they could be hurting somebody that you care about, and that could bring out that anger. So expect that to just get a little bit tense. Mars is going to be in there for a little while, so you might want to get used to it. But expect to be that kind of mama bear kind of energy. And we will need that energy to deal with the 7th when the last Mercury-Uranus square comes up. So are we going to be seeing more outages? Are we going to see more, hacks to websites or stuff like that, like with what we've seen with the past two? Are we going to have more shocking revelations? We know what's happened in the past, that we had the CrowdStrike outage, and then we had the hacks into the Harris and Trump campaigns with the second one. So now, is it going to be worse, or did we learn moving forward? Because now we have Mercury moving forward and taking what we've learned from past issues and bringing them into the future, and maybe being able to deal with things a little bit easier, or to be ready for them so it won't happen. Or the shocking revelations, like, the news coming out, the shocking news coming out, like with Biden stepping down, endorsing Harris, and then with RFK Jr. stepping down, endorsing Trump. What's left to happen? Are they both going to step down and endorse the Green Party, maybe? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Nowadays, with everything that's going on in the world, it's just, you never know. With Uranus in there, you just don't. So I would really just prepare for the unexpected and be ready to face it head on with that mama bear. You know, be ready to take care of yours, if even if that's your bank account that you're taking care of, because we do have, you know, that Venus in opposition with the North Node. We're protecting our money, folks, and we want to protect that like it is our baby, and we don't want to lose it. So if your bank account does get hacked, you want to keep, you know, keep safe and really keep up on that. I check mine every day because you just never know with everything that goes on in the world. Be ready to face these things head on. So, and then we move to the sun opposing Saturn, and as it's like an invisible road block just keeps getting in the way. But, you know, as a collective, our drive, that sun, our drive keeps, you know, getting, you know, keeps us moving forward, keeps, and then as a collective, we use that grounding Virgo energy that we're currently in to really see clear of that, of all the nonsense, that Saturn in Pisces nonsense, those roadblocks that just don't seem to make sense, that we just don't see coming, that, you know, we might not even understand fully, that just keep getting in the way. Sorry, my cat's tail's about to go by. But we want to use that grounding energy to really, you know, see clear of the nonsense, see through everything, to kind of, you know, be that light in that fog, and find a way through. So on the 9th, Mercury is back in its domicile of Virgo. So that is a nice positive. We have a lot going on in Virgo now. So we have, Picky has a lot going on today too. See him back there. So ready to end its post-shadow period on the 11th in order again to release what is not needed. So we want to take what we learned from the retrograde, move forward with what is necessary for our mental development, because we have to develop our minds and open our minds and be able to, you know, process the new information that we're going to be getting in with all the changes, with all the surprises, with all the just the worldly changes that are going on, and even in our personal lives. You know, if it is, say, a relationship that we're getting out of, you know, we want to be able to mentally prepare ourselves for it. So, you know, you want to clear those mind of those nagging questions that keep you up at night. You know, clean out your closets mentally, figuratively, literally. You just want to keep that mind healthy and really just know what is necessary and know what is not necessary. That is that extra stress that we just do not need in our lives. So moving on, the sun will square Jupiter on the 12th. So that's a lot of thoughts and big ideas, and that helps us move forward, because this is in Virgo, and in Jupiter is in Gemini. So very, very mercurial energy going on with this big ideas to help us move forward. So we're using what we learned from that Mercury, you know, shadow, post shadow, to move ahead. We're really like just taking anything we can get, reading anything. Where's the drive? Where we have focus to success, watching YouTube videos or whatever it is that is going to keep you learning. Plus we have a really nice trine of the benefics, Jupiter and Venus on the 15th, and Venus is in Libra and Jupiter is in Gemini. So both air signs, so nice flowing ideas. It's just flowing through your mind with the nice air, balancing opinions, balancing our options, and keeping our open-mindedness going. And this is followed by Mercury squaring Saturn, and that Saturn in Pisces giving us you know, that Saturn giving us those blocks again. So, you know, Saturn just wants to just throw up roadblocks, and just not even roadblocks as much as learning experiences. I feel like everyone looks at Saturn like he's just this evil, like, you know, not nice, that, you know, wants to hold us back, but it doesn't. It wants us to learn and move forward. Instead of like cheating on a test and moving forward, it wants us to learn the material, and then we can move forward. But this is giving us a little bit of writer's block, some kind of mental burnouts, especially from that high energy, you know, Venus Jupiter trine that was in the air signs. That is a lot of mental stuff going on. So we want to, keep safe from that burnout. We are at the apex of what we are, clouded, confused. The eclipse is going to make us question what we've previously thought, because the 17th brings us that partial lunar eclipse, and that is a full moon, of course, and that is in Pisces at 25 degrees. Again, we're getting to the ends of all of these. So that is right up there with Neptune, really close. So, really kind of breaking into this eclipse season with a lot of confusion, a lot of unsurety of how to move forward. We're going to be, really questioning things that we've previously thought, and, pretty much everything that we believed in could come crashing to a halt, because we also have that Mercury-Uranus square, don't forget, that could really just kind of throw a wrench in everything. So the Sun will trine Uranus just before opposing Neptune on the 19th and the 20th. So your minds are open to new ideas, new possibilities. We're acting, we're actually excited. So that is that Uranus feel of excitement, and excitement for the unknown, because then we have that opposing Uranus. Like, I'm excited and I just feel like this adrenaline going, but I don't even know why. We're excited about the new developments, and excited about the questioning kind of future moving forward. And I think that's a good way to be, because again, if you are scared, it's going to hold you back. Then Neptune has us rethinking. Have we been deceived? Again, we're going back before we move forward, and we're looking at like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't seem to make sense. So how can we tell what's real, what's fiction, what's illusion, what's delusion? Mercury then will square Jupiter on the 21st, and this confusion can have our minds working overtime. So again, that a lot of mental activity going on, and this always kind of happens with Virgo. Because there is so much of that mercurial energy. It's very fast moving. But then it brings us back to that new moon, with us remembering to cut out the fat, get rid of the fluff, and try and clear your head a little bit, because there's only a certain amount of things you can have in there, unless you're staying up at night, not even knowing what's keeping you awake. Venus will then square Pluto in Capricorn right before its ingress into Scorpio on the 22nd. So this is going back now to themes of power and control, and this could be in relationships. So these don't go away as it moves into Scorpio, because that can actually make it worse. So you may feel more distrustful. This can get even obsessive to a point. If it is in the love department, it can have us, really checking others' phones and looking for a sign or a proof of deception, or something like that. Just not being, able to trust anybody. So then we have the Sun moving into Libra. So that's starting our new season. Of course, the best season ever, Libra season. Not that I'm biased, of course. But on the 22nd, this is the fall equinox, where the days and nights start the opposite. So we are going from longer days and shorter nights to then longer nights and shorter days. And that is followed by Mercury moving in on the 26th. So the Mercury and the Sun are coming together, but first they both are going to oppose the North Node in Aries. So this is a great time for debates, and I would expect there to be debates, because it's going to be that battle. Who wants to win more? It's the battle of wits. It's the battle of minds. And this is all, again, this mercurial communication. And how do I express what I'm feeling to make others understand my point of view and my vision for the future? And of course, this really falls into what's going on with just the presidential election of the United States. They're each trying to get everyone to understand their vision of the future, and trying to explain their vision of the future so that you'll vote for them, and that oh, okay, that one makes sense. So how are they going to make sense out of their visions so that it is more understanding for us? So it is that battle of wits, and are they ready for battle? And who really wants to win more? And who is just going to come out on top with just the better thought process and the better explanation of their thoughts, the thoughts that make sense, the ideas and the goals that make sense. What's the goal of this election? What do we want? What are we looking for ultimately? So they come together then in conjunction on the 30th in Libra. This is really an auspicious date because, it's our energies and our egos and our courage going together hand in hand with communication, knowledge, and the ability to convey your views to others. So that's the power of persuasion, and that is strong right now. So really, if there are debates around this amount of time, this is when we're going to see everyone like on point. And if you really, if any of these candidates have astrologers, I would really suggest they look at their charts and really just kind of try to prep them based on where this is falling in their chart and what aspects it's making to their MC or their sun or even their ascendant, to just how is that power of persuasion going to go for them. So again, I would expect more debates with the candidates. These debates on the 10th are just the one debate that they have going right now is just after that Mercury-Uranus square. So I think that might be interesting because we all can remember back to the first debate back in, it was June, I think it was early June, that kind of got the ball rolling for everything crazy to happen with Biden just not doing well and then dropping out. But anyway, this is all also pertaining to our own lives, and we have to know this is the month to cut the fat, move forward. So be sure to subscribe because we're going to be fine-tuning all of these major lunations and aspects. So hit the notification bell to get alerts of these videos. Please comment on your September thoughts. It is really great month and everybody loves fall. Well, most people do it anyway. So I'd love to hear all of your points of view, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.